All right. Hi. Long time no see, you guys. We're going to be talking about Uranus moving into Gemini July 7th. It's happening. It's happening. And I've been wanting to make this video. I have just been sitting with what this means for all of us. And I've been digesting a lot of the information that's been shared online, and I want to share my take on this and sort of the invitation that comes with Uranus moving into Gemini, because it's a pretty big deal. It's a pretty big deal. We have a lot of our outer planets moving into new signs. I've been kind of calling this like the switching of the guards, or the old gods are stepping down, new gods are stepping up. It's a massive shift that's happening. So if you want to know more about that, stay tuned. I'm going to be going through what it means based off of your rising sign as well. So on a personal level, it's always important to listen to the first part of my video as well, so it gives you some context of why I'm sharing what I share about your rising sign. So stick around, watch the whole video, put me in 2 times speed if you need, my little TikTok people over there. There's a couple of you there. So just hang out, grab some tea, chill with me, and if you do get like a little drink, a little snack, let me know in the comments what you're grabbing. With that all being said, let's do some housekeeping. So if you guys aren't signed up to my newsletter yet, I have a newsletter called Letters from the Eighth House, where I channel the upcoming transits straight to your inbox every Monday. It's totally free. It lets you know what's happening astrologically. It goes over what I share in my live stream. I also go live every Sunday at 4 p.m. on Twitch and share the forecast, and it's a great space to get to know my community, get to know me more on a personal level, and to dive a little bit deeper and ask me astrological questions. Like, that is the place for asking all the curious questions that you have for your chart, for what's going on, personal astrology, etc. Like, come ask me some questions, because once I'm talking, like, I'll just keep yapping. So take advantage of that. Additionally, my website's going to be launching soon. I'm going to be opening one-on-one coaching for those of you who are interested in being supported by me in a closed container and working with me one-on-one to start setting new foundations and growth. It's all personal. It's based off of your needs and what feels supportive for you. So keep your eye out. Again, my newsletter is the best way to be notified when all of that stuff goes live. I'll be emailing everybody about it. I have embodiment sessions, so that's somatic-based work that I do as well. So it's more trauma-informed care and me guiding you through moving through traumatic things stored in your body or whatever is present that you want to move through. I have divine channeled messages open for July, as well as astrological readings, and my Discord's open too. If you want to join the community, you can jump in. Everything I'm sharing is all linked in the description. So if you want to explore my current webpage and see what's going on with me, you can do that there. I will be having a newsletter about our full moon in Capricorn coming up, with a ritual guide as well. So keep your eye out for that, and a YouTube video on that as well. Okay. Now that I've talked for like ever about that, let's talk about Uranus and Gemini. All right, so Uranus is moving into Gemini on July 7th and is going to be in Gemini up until November 2025. It's going to retrograde back into Taurus, go direct back into Gemini. I believe it's April 2026. Let me double check. Yes, I have it written there. Okay. And then it's going to be in Gemini until May 2033, which is wild even saying that out loud. So it's a 7-year cycle. Sevens are very significant to me. If you know me personally, that's so interesting. So we're about to already like dive into some of the things that have been coming through with like downloads, with my own intuition, with things with Uranus. I was already thinking about 7-year cycles, and it's so funny that it's of course related to Uranus. Sometimes when things come through on a channeled level, it relates in astrological ways. So something that's been coming up is like recognizing the last 7 years. So Uranus has been in Taurus the last 7 years. A lot of things have shifted and changed. Look at your natal chart and look at where Taurus is in your natal chart, and understand that sort of lesson that comes with that house that Taurus is ruling over for you. All right, had to close up all my windows because my AC kicked on, but we're back. It was only a second for you guys, but I know I was talking about Uranus and Taurus, and so reviewing that for you. But let's shift directions and start looking forward, which is very much so akin to Uranus shifting into Gemini. Let's break it down. As always, I'm an educator. I want to break things down into digestible pieces for the people watching. So Uranus is our planet of disruption, of awakening, of rebellion, of liberation. Uranus rules over lightning, and I always like making tangible comparisons because it's really important for our minds to start to conceptualize these things. And so what does lightning do? It disrupts things. It can cause forest fires. It grants flashes of illumination for a split second, and then you're cast into darkness again. That's the sort of thing that Uranus does. And then we take the archetype of Gemini. Gemini represents our mind. It represents our voice, our perception, learning, technology, duality. Uranus, or not Uranus, but Gemini is the twins. And so, this is why it's taken me a while to sit and film this video, because I've been really sitting with the energy of this. And actually, I have my journal right here because I was sitting with the archetype of Uranus in Gemini, and I was like, what? Tell me. Let's really just sit with this energy. And my practices are pretty out there, and so I was able to actually sit with this energetic, and something came to mind that was very profound with this sort of energy. And the thing that came through was every strike of lightning, is intentional. That was the sort of message of Uranus and Gemini, was saying, I don't make any incorrect strikes. So the things that Uranus and Gemini is going to be illuminating for you for those split seconds, for those random, it's making me think of the Tower card, where if you I'll put it to the side here, the Tower card, you can see these lightning bolts and these people jumping from, it's intentional. It's intentional, these sort of sparks of chaos that come through, because it's for your ultimate growth. Now, this doesn't have to be scary. It's just really testing your ability to navigate sudden change or upheaval or awakenings. So, again, putting these pieces together of Uranus and Gemini, this to me is mental evolution, mental awakening on a level our society hasn't seen in a long time. And I wrote here, some people are about to have their realities shattered. And that's why it's been a bit hard for me to sit with this energy, because of the fact that our mind space is very delicate, and when things get rocked, it can be kind of disarming and intense and reality breaking for a moment. And that sort of energy can be very difficult to navigate if you don't have the right support systems. And that's why sort of the start of this year was kind of the front loading energetically to prepare us for this shift. And again, we're going to have the opportunity to kind of go back and review things, because Uranus will retrograde at the end of this year, and we'll get the opportunity for it to go back into Taurus, and we'll have this sort of reconciling with the Uranus and Taurus sort of lessons and wrapping things up, and then it'll move direct back into Gemini next year. So again, there's this sort of nervous system shifting that's happening. I see so many things happening with this, and I'm not a predictive astrologer. That's not really my thing. It's more of the energetics that are available with these sort of transitions, with planets moving into different signs. And with Gemini being something that is very intellectually and mentally stimulated, it's kind of interesting. My power supply on my computer has been kind of lacking, and it's kind of getting a power supply upgrade for a computer. So it's maybe the things That's the perfect analogy for this. If you're not a computer person, a power supply is essentially what powers your computer, and it has a certain amount of wattage, etc. And so it's like you have kind of like like you've done all these upgrades, like physical upgrades, but it's like you haven't had enough energy to power all of it. So it's almost like you couldn't focus on certain areas of your life. Again, this is an outer planet, so it's not as like direct and personal unless you have something at the first degrees of Gemini or in Gemini, but it is sort of like this upgrade that's happening on a collective level of like amplifying the energy and adding more power to it to expand it. There's sort of, I see technology advancing very quickly. If we look at the last time Uranus was in Gemini, there was a lot of evolution that happened on a technological level of like things progressing, and now Pluto's in Aquarius too, which they're going to be trining each other at the start. It's going to be really profound, the sort of inventions that come out during this time. Lots of unveiling of things, lots of like blindfolds being removed as well, with like how we viewed communication and connection and things coming to light that, you know, we've blindly trusted, and things being revealed. There's a lot of illumination happening, and Uranus is no bullshit. He's just here to deliver truth, disruption. He does not care if it, you know, shatters your world. It's sort of the, like, depending on where you're at within your reality, within your belief system, within your world, you know, it's up to you. Do you have the capacity to pick up those pieces, or to be like, yeah, actually, I'm not even going to use those pieces anymore because that doesn't serve me. So it really is this invitation for us to like allow our minds to be expanded. You can't really resist this. Like it's going to happen. Things are going to come through and liberate you. This is mental liberation. Big mental liberation. That's kind of been like the words that have been echoing in my head with this, is mental liberation. And again, Gemini also rules over our nervous system too. So like lately I've been feeling like I've been plugged into an electrical socket, and that's kind of the feeling I get with this transit as well. Of course, it's not going to be like 7 years you're plugged into an electrical socket, but it is sort of like this. There's going to be shifts where like you have to find ways to really regulate your nervous system. And something that's been coming to mind, and it makes sense with the Gemini energy, is co-regulation. Like actually being around people to regulate yourself and to like connect and like keep each other balanced. I'm seeing like batteries in my mind's eye as well. So it's like, you know, being able to have a polarity with another person. And that again is that Gemini energy. So there's so much shifting with this, and my invitation here, it's like breaking mental patterns, understanding that language, the way we communicate too, is magic. Like our words matter, and it's something I've been personally on a personal level been really catching myself of like, what am I saying? Is that true? Like the words that we speak into existence, like they have power, and there's a lot of focus on this as well here. Here I wrote like, there's a lot of deconditioning of your values, of what we were taught to believe, like in textbooks, in our day-to-day lives, in what we're seeing on the media, like this sort of false illusion that we're being presented by, you know, people, that's being broken down. So really, really like, it's going to be mind-boggling for a lot of people if you're not already in that realm of like slowly shedding the layers and like allowing things to fall to the wayside. It's going to be pretty intense for some individuals, but I feel like most people that are connecting with me, you're already on this trajectory of unveiling. And so it's like, it's another level, another iteration of this unveiling happening. And again, like, let the things fall away. The mind has been really, really present within the astrology lately of like, that black and white thinking does not serve anymore. That rigid thinking does not serve you anymore. It's sort of like recognizing that Interesting. I was having a conversation the other day with my bonus dad where we were talking about, it just kind of hit me. And again, I've been really sitting with this energy of Uranus and Gemini of like everything that we've been told and taught up to these moments are all just stories that have been passed on from our textbooks in school that were made by a certain person who told a certain story. We really don't know the actual truth of what happened in our past because we were not there, right? So it's all stories. And then that leads into like storytelling and the power of storytelling and how that has been used in a lot of ancient traditions of passing on knowledge and wisdom. And there's a sort of level of manipulation that's happened with the storytelling and painting certain narratives. And it's sort of like, I feel like this Uranus and Gemini is giving us the opportunity to like break the false illusions of certain stories that aren't true. Whether that's on a personal level or a collective level, it's going to be mirroring and happening in both realms. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this unfolds on a global level and on a personal level. So yeah. Yeah. Deep breath. It's gonna be, you know, mental revolution, nervous system rewiring. I get a lot of like computer images in my mind when I think of Uranus in general because it's kind of like this, I see like this big like computer lab that's happening, and Uranus is like just running a lot of things and then like sending like downloads are going to be big too with this as well. So some people are going to be hit with some things that are like, what is this? I've never had this happen in my life before. Like, what are these thoughts? What are these things that are coming through my body? Like, it's going to be wild. So that's Uranus in Gemini that's happening. And let me know your thoughts. We're going to be jumping into how it's going to be affecting you on a personal level based off of your rising sign. Again, I always invite you to look at your natal chart and to see where this is falling for you on a personal level, because some people, you have like split houses. So it might be transiting through your 6th house and then your 7th house. So just playing into that. Okay, cool. And if you've made it this far in the video, drop a like lightning bolt down in the comments to let me know that you've made it this far, because I love to see who's like connecting deeper and actually really sitting with the information. I know some of y'all just go to the rising signs, which is totally fine too, but I want to see who's still with me. All right, cool. So Aries risings, like I always say, this is your energy tenfold. So everything that I shared previously, so if you didn't go and watch that, go back and watch everything because it all adds together. This for you guys is falling in your 3rd house of communication. You have the natural chart, so it is amplified here. This is really shaking up your communication realm, how you speak, how you write, how you learn, how you teach. It's that sort of connecting energy. There is nervous system upgrades happening, thought loops rewiring. Like it really is this mental evolution that is happening for you. There's going to be sort of an inner rebellion against small talk or surface level communication. Like you are really feeling that call to like cut through the bullshit. You may find that like your relationship with siblings or close-knit community, like your neighborhood, connections shifting there, friendships shifting. There is ultimately a need for you to free your voice from old programming, to free your mind from old programming. It's like a full system upgrade that is going to be happening for you for the next 7 years. Woo! Okay, Taurus Risings, this is happening in your 7th house of shared resources. Not shared resources. Interesting that I said that because it is Gemini. Interesting. Take that if it resonates. This is happening in your house of values, of self-worth. So money as well. There's going to be a revolution happening in that area of your life. This is a sort of deeper questioning of like what you actually need versus what you were told that you needed. You know, that sort of programming that comes up with how you navigate things, where it's like, were you told that you need to have the white picket fence or the 2.5 kids? And so you've been striving for that, but this is the invitation of like, what actually matters to you? What's actually your values? Ooh, I just got like full body chills with that. Jeez. This is like unconventional income streams coming in as well, changing financial stability, things kind of getting shaken up in that realm. There's liberation from false security and external validation happening here. There's this, the deeper thread of this is embodied self-trust. And that being your evolutionary path is like that deep trust, and you actually like allowing that body-based trust to guide you. All right, Gemini Risings, this is happening in your first house. Holy shit. So double check what your actual degree of your rising sign is. Like if you're a 0 degrees Gemini Rising, crazy cool. But just double check to see if it's going to be moving into your 12th house or your first house when it first shifts. But it's going to be in your first house eventually. So this is personal rebirth. You are not coming out the same after this transit, baby. No, you are getting upgrades on upgrades. This is identity, appearance, your instinctual self being completely changed. Others may not recognize who you're becoming, and that, my friends, is the point. Radical authenticity, restlessness, coming up, like this need for change is going to be like crawling through your skin, like ready for that level of shedding. There's going to be sort of like nervous system flare-ups happening as well here. They're signals, not issues, but just really recognizing like what's surfacing, what's coming up. There's this invitation with Uranus coming through your first house is learning to live without labels. Like not being put in specific categories and allowing yourself to shed and change and shift, which I feel like as a Gemini rising you guys are really good at, but this is going to be like a whole nother next level. Cancer risings, Uranus is going to be transiting your 12th house, which is going to be this inner awakening, subconscious unravelings. The 12th house represents our subconscious mind. It's always hard for me to talk about because it's a realm that can't have words tied to it. So it's always interesting. There's going to be breakthroughs through dreams, through spiritual practice, through solitude. You know, that time that you really take to go to your inner realms. That's going to be deeply unveiling. There's going to be unexpected releases of karmic patterns happening here, ancestral entanglements, which is very interesting because in my journey this morning, I literally watched myself like sitting with a knot and just like unraveling it piece by piece. So that feels significant for you guys. There might be disorientation that happens with this transit as well. That's, I'm seeing as a part of the deconditioning that's happening, where it's like, some of these things are not going to mentally make sense for you. That's a part of it. You're going to be trying to grasp at like logical concepts and just let it be. There's sort of this node of freedom is found in surrender, in the silence, in the quiet, in the return. I just heard return to yourself, return to innocence. And it's that song, Return to Innocence by Enigma. You might want to listen to that. Yeah, just listen to your heart, my friend. That'll be the return to yourself. That's a good song. You should listen to that after this. But it really, actually, yeah, I feel like that's specifically channeled for you guys. Like, go listen to that song after this. Yeah, this is sort of like, oh, it's going to be so cool. It's almost like when I closed my eyes for a second, it's like I went back into like, it's like the deep programming of your mind is like getting upgrades and you can't see it happening. You can't like see it happening, but suddenly the way you navigate life is going to start changing as a shift in that inner reprogramming. Super cool. I'm excited for you guys. Leo risings. This is happening in your 11th house, all your friends and cool stuff. This is evolutionary shift within community, vision, your future self. So what you see out in the world, that sort of futuristic vision. There may be a sort of falling away of communities or friends or connections or invitations for more new things in that realm to come in. Some fade, some might actually like be catalysts for your evolution, those connections. There is a call here with Uranus moving into Gemini for you to kind of be like a visionary outside of the norm. You're going to be sort of that oddball within your community space that's kind of like, well, what about this idea? Or what about this big perspective? There's a need here to be detached from being liked or being admired from peers or from the world or communities. Like I just heard you're going to be a freak. In a good way. Like, I really feel this sort of, you're no longer feeling the need to conform to, and I felt like a sharp pain in my heart when I said that. No longer resisting the need to conform to that community sphere or like the way you perceive your future to be. You're kind of shedding those old patterns and those old beliefs of like, this is the reality I have to create for myself. Your long-term dreams are shifting radically with this transit. And by the time these 7 years are older, the vision that you had for yourself in their future is going to be completely changed. That's so cool. Whoo! Hey, Virgo Risings. Me too. I'm a Virgo Rising. I always, whenever I settle into our energy, I'm like, but this is great. Uranus is moving into our 10th house. Career, vocation, our public image is about to get a shake up, which might be terrifying for some of you. I'm here for it. It's already happening. I've already felt the like things falling away. You may want to quit jobs or pivot or break free from the shoulds within the work realm, within the external vocation, in that thing that you want to bring into the world. There's breakups with authority happening here. So whether that's parents, bosses, internal critics, that sort of part of you that's like, you have to perform a certain way in order to like, you have to get this and make this much money by this age and have the house. And like, it's like, no, I'm going to bring something that is so deeply profound to the world. There is this deep invitation with Uranus moving into Gemini that you are meant to create and bring something into the world that has not even been created yet, that has not been imagined yet. Like, you're really taking the steps to evolve who you are in the world and who you came here to be. It's literally time for you to innovate your world. Whoa, your world. Interesting. I was going to say your spot in the world. So, as within, so without. So as you're shifting and changing within you, it's happening externally as well. So this is going to be a profound shift within what you're creating in the world. And it feels really exciting for me as I'm doing this, as I'm stepping into the career field that I'm in, which is this me on your screen. So with that being said, subscribe to my newsletter. Okay. I love you guys. This is going to be beautiful. You guys embrace the change and don't settle. Okay? Cool. Hi, Libra Risings. Uranus is going to be shifting into your 9th house of spirituality, of learning, teaching, beliefs. This is mental and spiritual expansion through disruption. This is sort of like old ideologies and belief systems crumbling, literally falling apart. Lightning strikes the foundation of your beliefs, and suddenly everything changes. This can also be educational paths too. Some of you might be in school and you're realizing, I don't want to do this. This is not what I wanted. There's might be spontaneous interest in like philosophy or travel, and like this deep desire to learn more deep and rich information to start building new beliefs. There's also this invitation and urge to teach and share and put yourself out into the world in a way where I see like students gathering around you because you've been cultivating new beliefs, and now like your way of ingraining that is like also teaching it. The sort of like you learn as you teach, you're the student and the teacher. You're liberating your way of making meaning in life, whether that's through your beliefs, whether that's through your philosophy, through your education. It's really beautiful, and it's going to shake you up. Hey, Scorpio Risings. Hey. This is happening in your 8th house. That's your realm. That's your space. That's your domain. This is deep soul excavation. Which, you know, you're Scorpio Rising, so you guys are really good at. You know, what's another layer? What's another shedding? This is in the realm of death, of power, of psyche, of sex, all the things that we don't want to talk about or bring to the surface, of money, of those conversations where like, we can't discuss these things. They have to stay in the shadow realm, in the underworld. There is a sudden shift of intimacy, shared resources, energetic bonds happening here, where those things are being illuminated. That flash second of like, oh, this connection to my resources, intimacy, things being illuminated, where it's like these things need to shift and change, and your thought process around them, that mental sort of realm that you have around them, it's going to be liberated. There is this liberation from emotional enmeshment that you have, and trauma loops that like have kept you in the same spot. I really seeing this. I heard it's like this can either like kickstart you or kick you down. So it's like, it depends on your perspective, and that's literally what Uranus and Gemini is doing, is shifting our perspective, and it's like you get to choose how you perceive it. Psychic downloads might come in fast and furious. I'm like literally seeing a lot of car imagery for you guys, like where it's like, I heard Final Destination. I've never seen that, so I don't know. That was weird. But like things are coming in fast for you. So like, my Scorpio Risings, I know you exist like this, clinging to things, and a good chunk of you are really working on that. It might have loosened your grip a bunch, but there's still a few of you that have an ironclad grip on your beliefs, on your thought processes, on how you live, and you're like, no, I'm good at surrendering. I'm good at surrendering. I'm good at surrendering. Your real evolution happens when you stop clinging to things, when you're actually able to sit and be okay with things changing and evolving and transforming. And you're like, I'm a Scorpio. Of course, I'm really good at that. But there is a deep attachment to certain ways that things operate that are at a subconscious level that it's about to be illuminated. So I don't know why I just felt like I had like a mom talk with you guys, but I felt like you needed it. So breathe, allow things to be illuminated, and open yourself to the change. Okay. Hi, Sagittarius Risings. Hey, this is happening in your 7th house of relationships. My heart feels very tender for some of you specifically. This is unpredictable shifts within relationships. New people, breakups, awakening love is happening here. There's cracks in codependent patterns and outdated resources occurring here, where you're actually seeing the faults in the foundations, and Uranus is illuminating those things and allowing. Again, it's really making me think of what I said at the start of the video. And again, if you didn't watch the start, go back and watch it and then come back, because we're not just skipping all the information that I gave. So go back and watch. And I did say there that, you know, spoke to me, Uranus and Gemini, said, I do not make incorrect strikes. So when he knocks something out of your life or brings something in, it's not chance. It's not coincidence. It's intentional, and you have the ability to move through this. You are learning to let others evolve around you without losing yourself and staying like focused on your path. This is about choosing love that expands you, that does not confine you. You cannot be confined in this energy. Like you, especially with Gemini as your 7th house, like you are very social and beautiful and big. And there's like a need for exploration here and a need for like re-looking at the patterns within love here. So again, there's unpredictable shifts happening within the realm of love and partnership, and, you know, partnerships that allow freedom will thrive here. Anybody that is threatened by freedom and allowing you to grow and evolve as well ain't gonna make it. Okay. I love you guys. I do. I just had a little visitor, Capricorn Risings, and there's a specific Capricorn Rising whose little visitor is your offspring, if you're watching this video. Okay, for my Capricorn Risings, Uranus is transiting into your 6th house. This is all about routines and health and structures. There's going to be some radical shifts, baby. Radical shifts happening in your work, your health, your daily rhythm. Your nervous system is your messenger. So like, again, how I talked about at the beginning of the video, and if you haven't watched it, go listen to the start. That's important here. Your nervous system and co-regulation is so important here. So important for you guys. So listen to the chaos that's happening within you. What is it saying? What is it trying to tell you? This is breaking free from productivity as an addiction or control. Like it's like, oh, I have to be doing things all the time. I have to, and you know, if it's the opposite for you, you know, like you might feel encouraged to like start building things or shifting things and like having a routine. There's alternative healing or embodiment might call to you. So, hey, book an embodiment session with me, you know, a little plug there. But like genuinely regulating the nervous system is going to be deeply important, and finding routines that actually work for you. And you'll notice during this time that it might not be very, very consistent because you're evolving. Your body's kind of getting upgrades. You're here, again, 6th house is all about service too, and recognizing like how you're here to serve in a new liberated way, like how you are showing up in your day-to-day, like disciplined practices is really going to actually probably show you something that you never knew about yourself and how you can be of service to the world. Aquarius Risings. This is happening in your 5th house of fun, of play, creative breakthroughs. All those things are happening. So, you know, play, joy, romantic expression, that's all getting a nice little electric shock. I just saw you in like a electric torture chair, but that's kind of scary. You may feel creatively blocked at a certain extent, and now it's bursting open. It's like, whew, things are opening up. Be careful if you don't want to have kids. You know, it's sort of like shifts happening. Again, the 5th house can represent children, romance, things like that, play, but we could go into all that, but I'll just let you discern for yourself how that could apply. But there's this invitation of like reintegrating and reworking with your inner child. There's, oh, my right ear just started ringing, and that's your masculine side. So there's this like sort of like need for you to actually like take action on those inner callings that are like almost childlike in expression, in exploration, in value. I want you to really revolutionize how you can create and how you express yourself. So I keep getting High School Musical in my head of like, I just heard like, stick to the status quo. You know that song that they sing and they're like dancing around? It's like, no, this is like you're the guy and you like to bake, and like suddenly it's like, oh, that's crazy, but it's like, no, like you actually taking the call to action to express yourself is what you're supposed to be doing here. Learn to let pleasure be undomesticated. Like, you do not have to fit into a mold. You don't have to create the same way other people do. Like that, again, Uranus moving into Gemini is going to be changing everything at a certain level. So like follow and ride those waves of change that are happening. Hi, Pisces Risings, my sweet little babies, my sweet little precious baby scrumptions. This is happening in your 4th house. Home, family, roots are all being disrupted for soul growth. You're one of the few that I'm just like, I want to hold you through this, but it's also important for you to like move through this. There's going to be breaks with family patterns or maybe actual literal moving happening for you guys during these 7 years. There's evolutionary release with emotional baggage happening here, and it's going to be disruptive. Your nervous system has been rooted in familial patterns, and this is like really allowing you to shift and change those patterns, right? So recognize how your environment affects your nervous system. And there's going to be a need to shift things here of like how you process those things. So reclaim the right to feel safe in your own body and in your own space. So if that means like changing things up, moving things, moving physically, addressing familial patterns that you continue to do to regulate yourself that haven't actually worked. Like, it's time for more sustainable things for you, and to like actually take the veil off and the blindfold off on, you just coping and coping and coping and coping, and actually be like, oh shit, I gotta actually do something about this. Otherwise, like, fuck. So please do the work. I love you guys. I appreciate anybody who watched through the whole thing, which would be really cool. You'd learn more and how I interpret astrology if you did. Again, if you do make it to the video, let me know in the comments how this is landing for you on a personal level, on a collective level, what things you feel are going to be coming with Uranus moving into Gemini. I'm always interested in hearing other people's takes. I have readings open for July into August, and all my stuff is out there, but my biggest thing is sign up for my newsletter so you can get notified with my weekly updates on the astrology, but also anything that I am doing, because again, Uranus is transiting my 10th house. We're about to be doing some cool shit. All right, guys, I love you so much. Thank you so much. Subscribe, like, comment, the little bell, all the YouTube things to support me on my journey and my growth within this realm. Okay. Love you guys.